All right, I thought we'd get a little bit more advanced for our Illustrator users here. So this only applies to if you're utilizing vector art. Here's an example of a vector art image. I said I'd add this zombie, make it a little bit more creepy, and we would need to convert this for duotone overlay as well. The only problem with it is vector art becomes a little bit tougher in this scenario. Full color is not a big deal, but when we're going to two separate colors, a spot color and a black printing plate color, it can be a little bit tougher to work with. So there's kind of two ways to do it. One, you could take your original artwork, set it up to the size you intend to, and import, basically place your vector content into a Photoshop document. Then you could throw away the color and duotone it and bring it back in to InDesign. So I'm just going to say that one, but that's the workflow, and I can maybe show some individuals that if you want to go through and actually work with the vector, this is what you would need to do. You can go ahead and take your link and you can edit that link. It's going to pop it up inside of Illustrator. So here's my link. And what I've done here is I've added a couple of extra windows. First, I've opened up the swatches window. Now, when I brought this up default, this had a whole bunch of swatches in it and applied. I went through and grabbed and deleted those swatches by grabbing them and putting them in the trash can. I then left just black, and I loaded a new swatch, that Pantone 395C. So I used the same exact spot color swatch as what I used for over in InDesign and in Photoshop. Here's how I got to that. So if you go down to your swatches at the bottom, you have the ability to open your swatch library menu. So I'll click this, and I went into color books, and I chose Pantone plus solid coated. I then was able to go in and make a new swatch, and when I made it, I could choose it from my library over here. Sorry, it was hidden. That's what I get for being all zoomed in. When you choose that preset library of Pantone colors, they're all here, but they put them in an icon list. You can sort that as a list, but all I did was I dialed in the exact number, 395, and there I could find the exact Pantone color that I wanted to work with. So I added this here into the swatches. I then opened two other windows. I went window appearance and window attributes in addition to my color window, which I've left up because you will need to work with all of those. So let's go first. What I have in this layout is I have my layer, and then I have kind of a color layer in the background. My foreground layer is pure black, so I don't need to worry about that as much, but just to show you this foreground layer, this piece is nothing but 100% tint of the color black. So that's going to fit one of my plates. I grab the color below it. I'm just going to lock this, grab the color below it, and this is a greenish kind of RGB CMYK color. For this one, I'll go in and I'll just apply the Pantone color, and now it is a value of black and just the Pantone. I can tint that and reduce it if I want to. Run a file save, jump back to my document, and there we go. It's come in. If I check my separations, so turn off black and Pantone, it is truly only a duotone. None of the other colors are showing up in the separations window. So I'll go back. Where it gets a little bit goofier is if you wanted to do like a mixed ink color. So in mine, I made a mixed ink swatch for this setup. It's one of those things where InDesign, really has kind of an edge for multi-page layout, specifically for print, is you can control a lot of the inks for output. So things like developing packaging, that's really important for packaging design. But anyway, take a look at this one. If I'm going to go back and re-edit it. If I wanted to have a mixed value like I had before, here's how you do it. And again, this is a little bit more complicated, but what I'll do is under the appearance window, I'm going to take that tint back up. Under the appearance window, you have a fill that's added in here. Well, you can actually add more than one fill. So this is where it gets a little bit wild, but if I go in down the bottom and say add new fill. I can add a second fill, and I'll just put it over. And I can take that fill and maybe I'll make it black. Then what I can do with that fill is just take the opacity of it down, like this, to make kind of a shade of gray, to mix it. If we got really more technical, you need to do what's called overprinting, but I think for our purpose in 141 in intro class, this is way more than we need. So what I'm going to do is go, now I basically have the appearance of a mixed ink. I've used, a percentage of the black plate and applied it to a percentage of the Pantone plate, 395C. I'll do a file save, jump back over. There, my changes have come through. And if I go check it again, there we go. Same thing, we've got only those two values. If I went to export this to PDF, package it, etc., those two colors should all be contained in there. So there's a way to work around Illustrator. You have to do the same exact thing. You have to set up color swatches of those two plates and work with it.